the first thing I would say is that's actually completely normal because you are just starting this part of your life where you get to explore a ton of things that you've never been introduced to. So really making sure that people know that's so normal to not necessarily have this clear vision of what will I do with my life, because in truth, really understanding how to think through your next best step is really first knowing who you are. So instead of thinking, what will I do? We ask students to really go backward and say, first, who am I? So we ask students to spend time really thinking about a combination of three things. One, what are you really good at? What are your natural inclinations? Two, what are you interested in? What are the things that you find yourself doing when no one's asking you to do it, or things that just kind of fill your heart with joy and happiness? Then combined with, what is your current context? As a student at Hope, your context is just that. You are a student. So what opportunities as a student do you have to combine your strengths and your interests and try things? That's the work of discerning your calling, is really to explore, what am I good at? What am I interested in? And what might my opportunities be? And if after that work, you're still thinking to yourself, yeah, man, I don't know what to do, which happens, then I am a huge proponent of finding people who you look at and you say, man, their life looks cool. Or that thing they're doing, that's really amazing. Or even like, that person looks really happy. Those kinds of people are the ones that you want to talk to. There's this idea that you can kind of hitch your wagon to their calling more than anything to just see what it's like to be around someone who is engaged in what they imagine to be their life's calling, whether that be something at work, a club, an organization, how they have relationships with other people. Because a lot of times those kinds of relationships can actually lead you to trying new things, and you're more and more and more then filling up the kinds of things you might be interested in. You're trying to engage in things that you might be really good at. And in that process, then, you can absolutely find your calling as well. That's a lot of pressure to imagine that there is just one path, and your job right now is to find that path or everything's going to be terrible. Like I can't imagine the pressure of feeling that way. So again, the first thing I would say is no, there isn't one path, because your calling is a much bigger umbrella than just your occupation. It's really important to distinguish between what is my vocation or my calling versus what might my occupation be. And yes, there may be some overlap. You get to do things within your occupation, your job, the thing you get paid for, that hopefully is a combination of things you're really good at, things you're really interested in a context that you enjoy. But you're more than your work. You are also a member of a community. You're a son or a daughter. You're a member of a church. And in all of those places, you live out your calling. That is, again, how we identify who am I, and then what do I do with that information. And it's never just, I must find the one career path that is suited for me. You can, if you are someone, for example, who thinks, you know what, I want to be a nurse. Excellent. But my question then goes further. Why do you want to be a nurse? Because a nurse is an occupation. It's not a calling. We go a little deeper. Why do you want to be a nurse? Well, because I really want to help people. Awesome. That is much more of a vocational answer. You are a helper, and you can be a helper in a million different roles in your life. And so to really then explore, what might my opportunities be to kind of act out that piece of myself, that vocation piece of myself in all the different things I do, including career. I hope that it relieves some of that stress, so you can see your opportunities and your options are much bigger than just one path forward. Discerning your calling is never something that you get to just check off a list and say, I'm done. This is my calling, and now this is all I have to do the rest of my life. I think one of the greatest gifts we've been given is the fact that we get to keep paying attention to our lives. What do you love? What are the things that are bringing you energy? How can you do more of that? And on the other hand, what are the things that are no longer bringing you joy or energy or happiness? And how can you move away from those things? All of that thinking takes a level of attention to your own life. It is so easy to get on the hamster wheel and just keep going. I know students feel it, right? Like you jump in one semester, and all of a sudden you're at midterm, and then all of a sudden you're at finals, and then all of a sudden you're done. It goes so fast you can miss it. And at the end of that, if you haven't stopped to pay attention, did I like this thing I did? Do I enjoy my relationships, my clubs, organizations? Then it's harder to make good decisions going forward. So that to me is one of the most important things that I've learned probably as I've gotten older, is just stopping and paying attention to your life allows for continued discernment so that you can know what is going to be the next step you want to pursue in your life. And it kind of is this ongoing process that you get to do forever. When you're 18, when you're 20, when you're 44, and when you're 84, you get to keep doing this process. And I hope that's looked at as a good thing.